Hello everyone, I'll be talking about Meniere's disease. It is the disease of the inner ear which is characterized by a triad of symptoms consisting of vertigo, deafness and tinnitus which occur at irregular and unpredictable intervals. Usually it occurs over the age of 30 years and the exact cause is unknown. The disease is named after French physician Prosper Meniere, who described this disease. Now let us understand the pathophysiology. The inner ear consists of outer bony labyrinth and inner membranous labyrinth. The endolymph fills the membranous labyrinth and perilymph fills the space between the bony and the membranous labyrinth. The flow of the endolymph stimulates the sensory receptors and signals are transmitted to the brain, by which we can perceive sound and also the body's equilibrium is maintained. In Meniere's disease, because of the etiological factors, there is overproduction and defective absorption of the endolymph, due to which the pressure within the membrane increases and the membrane ruptures. This leads to the mixing of endolymph and the perilymph, and thereby body's equilibrium is disturbed. Talking about the etiology, it could be due to genetic causes, due to anatomical causes, for example small vestibular aqueduct, traumatic causes, viral infections, allergies, autoimmunity, syphilis, endocrinal disorders like diabetes mellitus, thyroid disorders, chronic suppurative otitis media, autosclerosis, excessive consumption of alcohol, smoking, and also increased intake of salt. The classical triad of symptoms are giddiness, deafness, and tinnitus. The patient gets recurrent attacks of giddiness of sudden onset in spells of varying intensity, duration, and intervals. It may range from mild dizziness or imbalance to severe vertigo, which is usually rotatory in character. Sensorineural deafness is always present and its intensity may fluctuate. It may increase with each attack. Tinnitus may be continuous or may be present only during attacks. It may be more on the affected side. Nausea and vomiting may occur if giddiness is severe. The patient might experience fullness of the affected ear. Headache is often present. The patient may appear diaphoretic and pale sometimes. Usually, horizontal nystagmus may be present during an acute attack. The main investigations would be history taking, tuning fork tests, audiometry, caloric test, electronystagmography, and otoscopy. For a correct diagnosis, history taking is very important. Past history of giddiness, injury, diabetes, tinnitus, hypertension, otorrhea, medication and surgery should be obtained. Tobacco and alcohol consumption of the patient, if present, should be noted. Tuning fork test, when performed, reveals sensorineural deafness most of the times. Audiometry shows sensorineural deafness, which is more in the lower frequencies initially and later on higher frequencies also sets in. Speech audiometry shows marked diminution of speech discrimination. Caloric test shows canal paresis. The typical findings on electronystagmography is usually weakness, that is canal paresis of the affected labyrinth. Moving on to the treatment of Meniere's disease. First comes the medical management. Reassurance regarding the nature of the disease is very essential. Labyrinthine sedatives are used to control giddiness, nausea and vomiting. Diuretics and low salt diet may help in severe cases by reducing the tension of the endolymph. Vitamins like B complex are recommended in massive doses. Also, labyrinthine exercise are helpful in regaining the confidence of the patient. Second is the general line of management. Smoking should be discontinued. Second, consumption of alcohol should be curtailed. And third, septic foci, if present, should be dealt. Third is the surgical line of management. In resistant cases, one may advise operations which reduce the tension of endolymph, which is decompression or shunt operation of the endolymphatic sac. Second, partial destruction of the vestibule by ultrasonic or cryosurgery without disturbing the hearing. Third is vestibular nerve section. Fourth is labyrinthectomy. Fifth is Meniere's device therapy by intermittent low pressure pulse therapy. The prognosis is usually good as the disease can be controlled, but recurrence or relapses are likely. Scope of homeopathy in Meniere's disease is good. As disease comes in attacks or bouts, the patient needs remedy for this acute attack and is usually followed with the constitutional remedy to prevent the relapse. The medicines helps to maintain the hearing and the balancing function of the inner ear. It can also regulate the fluid levels in the ear, and it also reduces the pressure inside the inner ear. Thank you.